Welcome back, distinguished architects of the truth and connoisseurs of the unspoken, to the hallowed, velvet-lined archives of Mr. Magazine. You have stepped once again into the only sanctuary in the digital realm where a whisper is analyzed with the gravity of a historical decree, and where the silence between two superstars is deciphered like an ancient code. We are the premier destination for those who understand that in the glittering, often deceptive world of celebrity, the most profound stories are not those scripted by screenwriters or managed by publicists, but those that escape the carefully constructed cage of fame to reveal the raw, beating heart beneath. In a firmament where some stars shine through the cheap glare of scandals and others through the quiet luminescence of self-discipline, Cenk Torun has always belonged resolutely to the latter category. He has stood as a man of iron, reserved, protected by a seemingly impregnable wall of privacy that has deflected the arrows of the paparazzi for years. He was the unshakable monolith in a city of shifting sands. Until today. The gossip columns of Istanbul, usually filled with the unsubstantiated noise of fleeting romances and petty feuds, have begun to vibrate at a different frequency, a low, ominous hum that heralds a seismic shift in the actor's private life. What began as a buzz about his relationship, amidst fierce denials, fan hopes, and the certainty that his bond with the radiant Mahasin Merabit was unshakable, has morphed into a darker and more complex story than anyone had imagined. Today, we are not here to talk about scripts, ratings, or the superficial gloss of magazine covers. We are here to discuss a name whispered by a lawyer in a moment of carelessness, a third wheel who isn't who you think, and two haunting scenarios that could explain the end of an era. Cenk Torun's media trial is about to begin, and the evidence is as quiet as it is devastating. But before we descend into this labyrinth of legal leaks and broken trust, I must ask for a moment of your esteemed patronage. If you value the depth, the elegance, and the fearless analysis of our storytelling, please ensure you have pressed that subscribe button. It is your passport to the inner circle of the truth. For those among you who wish to walk the red carpet of exclusive content and support the artistry of our investigations, the Join button is waiting for your click. It is the mark of a true insider who demands more than just rumors. Your likes and comments are the ink with which we write history, so please, let your voice be heard in the discussion below. Now, let us examine the cracks in the fortress. To understand the current chaos that is gripping the fandom, we must first look at the deceptive calm that preceded it. Cenk Torun has built his illustrious career on two pillars: immense talent and absolute discretion. He is not a man who trades his privacy for currency. However, in recent weeks, that legendary discretion has ceased to seem like a stylistic choice and has become a warning bell ringing in the night. Astute social observers, the digital detectives who miss nothing, spotted the cracks long before the headlines did. They noticed the rarefaction of the couple's appearances, the way they slowly vanished from the social canvas. They noted the suspension of those once routine digital interactions, the likes and comments that served as a heartbeat for their relationship in the public eye. And above all, they felt a palpable chill during their rare public events, where Mahasin's loneliness seemed to scream louder than any official statement ever could. While the mainstream press attempted to connect the dots using old templates, reviving public desires and recycling theories about postponed weddings or denied crises, reality was fermenting behind closed doors, far from the camera's lenses. There was no official statement, no dramatic public confrontation in a restaurant, no unfollowing spree. Just silence. A heavy, suffocating silence. The hypothesis of a consensual separation began to circulate in the salons of the elite. That polite euphemism celebrities use to stall for time while their agents negotiate the terms of their emotional surrender. It is a phrase designed to keep the peace. But the image of peace was shattered by a detail no one had anticipated. It is here that the story takes a turn worthy of a psychological thriller. According to the latest rumors reaching our newsroom from sources deep within the legal community, that fraying a narrative has been demolished by a leak from the very team hired to contain it. Rumor has it that a lawyer, tasked with handling the delicate, razor-thin threads of the separation process, dropped a name during a private conversation within his inner circle. That name changes everything. We are not talking about a nebulous incompatibility of schedules or the vague growing apart excuse. We are talking about a specific person. And, in a surprise within the surprise, the whispers suggest it isn't a famous actress, a runway model, or a well-known face from the entertainment world. The rumors point to a figure who has always been present in their daily lives. A non-famous face, someone the couple absolutely trusts, a friend or collaborator with unlimited access to their private sanctuary. The revelation exploded like a bomb in the gossip ecosystem. If there was indeed a betrayal, it wouldn't have come from an external rival storming the gates, but from within their own stronghold. It brings to mind the classic Trojan horse, a danger disguised as safety, capable of shaking the foundations of what seemed indestructible. This brings us to a profound inquiry about trust. Which is worse, a betrayal by a stranger, or a betrayal by someone you invited into your home? The idea of an insider causing a rift is a terrifying thought for any couple. We are incredibly curious to hear your philosophy on this. Have you ever experienced a situation where a friend became the catalyst for a breakup? Please, share your profound thoughts and personal experiences in the comments below. We read every single theory. And if you believe privacy is a sacred right, show your support by hitting that like button right now. Meanwhile, the corridors of Istanbul's production houses have split into two distinct schools of thought, drafting two possible scripts for this real-life drama. The industry is trying to make sense of the senseless. The first script, the catalyst. According to the first theory, the relationship was likely already cracked, possessing hairline fractures invisible to the naked eye. However, the intervention of that third party, the name whispered by the lawyer, accelerated the collapse. The proximity of this unknown figure to Cenk Torun and Mahasine Merabit would have created a toxic dynamic, a chain of misunderstandings, or, in the worst-case scenario, an emotional betrayal capable of shattering the bedrock of trust. Precisely because it was someone at home, someone who shared their meals and their secrets, the wound would be double. This would explain why the lawyers are proceeding so cautiously. This is not just about a breakup, it is about the potential exposure of a deeply personal breach of faith involving a civilian. The second script, silent erosion. The second theory is less cinematic, less sensational, but perhaps more lucid and tragic. In this version, the leaked name would be a symptom, not the disease. According to sources close to the couple's operational circle, Cenk Torun's obsessively work-oriented lifestyle, characterized by marathon sets, constant travel, and accumulated physical and mental fatigue, would have created an emotional divide that became impossible to bridge. In that context of exhaustion and distance, any new friendship or external closeness could be mistaken for a threat, when in reality the bond was already weakened by simple neglect. What began as temporary weariness would have transformed into parallel lives, devoid of common ground. The intruder might simply be a confidant who listened when the partner was too busy to hear. In the midst of this turmoil, while the city whispers his name, Cenk Torun's posture remains unchanged, almost stoic. The actor hasn't uttered a single word. He has not posted a cryptic quote, nor has he liked a suggestive comment. For some, this silence is a noble way of denying dignity to gossip without giving it a voice. For others, it is a calculated legal strategy. In a complex separation involving non-public figures, what you don't say can't be used against you in court or in the court of public opinion. Colleagues who cross paths with him on set swear that his professional ethic hasn't wavered for a second. There are no delays, no emotional meltdowns in the makeup chair, no outbursts of anger directed at the crew. Cenk Torun seems to compartmentalize his life with almost superhuman discipline. He leaves the man at the door and brings only the actor to the stage. This refusal to turn private life into a circus is admirable, certainly, but it unintentionally fuels the engine of speculation. When you don't offer your version of the truth, the world constructs one of its own, often building it out of its darkest fears. We are deep into the analysis of this unfolding mystery. If you are enjoying this breakdown of the hidden details behind the headlines, please make sure you have joined the Mr. Magazine family by subscribing. We decode the stories that others miss. Also, I implore you to check out the join button below this video. Doing so allows you to support our channel directly and ensures we can continue to bring you these high-fidelity narratives. Do you think Cenk's silence is a sign of guilt or strength? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. One of the most revealing details in this anatomy of silence is the behavior of their social circle. Usually, in celebrity breakups, we witness the classic side war in which friends choose sides and strike from afar via social media, unfollowing the ex, posting supportive photos with the victim. Instead, here we see a collective retreat. Mutual friends have stopped posting altogether. They are avoiding questions from the press with practiced skill and appear to have signed an unspoken confidentiality agreement. This is significant. In the parlance of the city's elite, when everyone stays silent, it's because the matter is serious and painful, not a passing rumor. If it were a lie, they would laugh it off. The silence confirms the gravity. This attitude reinforces the theory that there wasn't a thunderous, violent clash, but rather a sad, mutual awareness that the end might be upon us, or that the involvement of the third party is too sensitive to discuss publicly. As for that whispered name, some friends, speaking strictly off the record, suggest that the role of an innocent person is being exaggerated, a figure stuck on the cross of a relationship's decline. A scapegoat, convenient for evading the harshest admission of all. That sometimes, when love is consumed, there is no need for a culprit. Sometimes, the fire just goes out. We cannot, and must not, ignore Mahasine Merabit's perspective in this narrative. Those who know her speak of an elegant composure that defies the chaos around her. They speak of silences that don't seek pity, of a strength that holds the stage without ever transforming intimacy into an audience. Some recall seeing her recently, limiting herself to a polite, somewhat brittle smile at an event, refusing to engage in the drama. Others note that her social media stories have become strictly neutral, focusing more on work than heart, more on aesthetics than emotion. These aren't conclusive clues. She is a professional, after all, but they are the subtle traces of a woman protecting herself and, at the same time, protecting the memory of what they built together. She is not burning the house down, she is simply locking the door. This brings us to the very nature of gossip itself. Incomplete information is a dangerous weapon. A name uttered in a legal context can mean 1,000 things: witness, confidant, technical expert, mediator. Without an official statement, that name is nothing more than a shadow to which we attach our own insecurities and projections. What is undeniable is that Cenk Torun stands at a crossroads. A single word from him could halt the avalanche or confirm the end of an era. But, knowing his path, knowing his history of ironclad privacy, it is likely that word will never come. Or, if it does, it will arrive in the cold, precise form of a written note once the dust has settled and the wounds have begun to scar. Until then, the industry will continue to whisper about the lawyer's leak, the exhaustion of the star, and the mysterious intruder in the life of the most reserved man in its firmament. And we at Mr. Magazine will be here, listening to the silence, waiting for the truth to find its voice. Thank you for joining us in the archives today. If this deep dive into the complexities of fame and privacy resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, may your own walls remain impregnable, and your trust remain unbroken. Goodbye.